Answers to the question about the history haunted the tiny. Does the story have a theme? What is the history about? What is the central idea? Is it implicit or explicit? The history has a central theme, which is about the change that touch her life, the protagonist, for the accident she suffered alone with her family and adapt to a new life. The history is about a young girl who travels with her parents and her brother, and they suffer an accident where she is only survivor and then has to go to live with her grandmother in a small village. She fails to overcome the tragedy of the accident and can't have quite nice because whenever she lies down to sleep she has nightmares about the accident. In the history she must try to adapt to a new life with his grandmother. The central idea which treats the history is of an accident who suffers the protagonist's family and therefore part her life in two. It is an explicit story because from the start it has narrating until the end is clarifying each chapter and the reader is taking the idea of the same. The next question is, who is the protagonist of this story? Try to establish her age, family background, social class, and status or occupation. The protagonist is a young girl of about 8 to 10 years old, where she lived with her family who were economically well, had a large house on a great city where nothing was missing them, since her father had a great job and it was recognized in the city social was high. This young girl was only engaged in study. It is a shy girl who is difficult to make friends. The next question is, what is the problem presented in the history? How was the problem solved at the end? The problem arising in the history is the young after the accident can't sleep quiet because it always has nightmares about it. The situation is resolved when the young woman is going to live with her grandmother and touch her adapt to her new life. Her grandmother understands and helps her to overcome the problem. The next question. At what point is the history is the tension heightless? Is it that the dramatic climax? The highest voltage in this history is given at the beginning, since it begins to narrate his nightmare of the accident. And the last question is, does the history involve an epiphany or moment of insight, revelation, of self-realization for the protagonist or for the reader? How is the moment presented? History implies a self-realization, since the protagonist must adapt to her new life, accept the new changes, and it is to start a new city, living with her grandmother, make new friends, and adapt their new home and take what's new life with love. Thank you so much.